Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to an unconventional cut file usage video. I am teaming up with MK this month. I should have been on earlier in the month, but because I was ill, this is the first video that I'm doing for this one. So I hope that it's helpful for you. So we decided to use some cut files from our stash and try and use them in different ways than just putting them just behind our photo as a background, and or just backing them with different colored paper pieces like you would a standard cut file. So I chose this brick background, and I'm going to glue it down to this white paper. And I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to glue it down, and the paper is just basil coconut swirl paper. And I decided I didn't really need anything extra heavy duty because I'm going to gesso the entire thing. If I was not gessoing it, I probably would have chosen a paper that was a little more mixed media friendly. But in this case, I didn't worry about that. So I am just using some Dina Wakley clear gesso, and I'm going to just paint it on with a paintbrush, try to cover every area I can, and get some good coverage. You can also use the gesso a bit like glue. Instead of using the adhesive, I could have gessoed the whole background, the cut file to the background. It would work as, in that way also. Note to self, when you're doing something like this and you're going all the way to the edges of the pages, put your media mat down before you start. I just ended up throwing mine down as I was already in the process. It works for me, but you know, part of your process might be being prepared and doing that ahead of time. So I pulled out some Catherine Pooler ink. The oval one is called Tranquil, and that's a really, really light blue, kind of a blue gray. And then I believe this one is Stone Blue. And then I also pulled out my Distress Oxide and Chipped Sapphire. So the reason I chose to do those is I didn't want the, I'm going to say the top layer, but the raised layer of the cut file to be perfectly white. So I definitely went over that with that Tranquil color, which just kind of gave it a little bit of a bluish tinge to it. And then I wanted the bricks to be a little bit darker colored, which is why I was able to stamp the mini ink pad inside of each one of those bricks. And now I'm trying out my chipped sapphire in an area that was a little more, a little bit more friendly, so it's underneath the photograph to see that I like the color. Once I knew I liked the color, I went ahead and just did the corners of several of them, maybe along the bottom of some of them. I don't want it to look really uniform, so I'm kind of switching up where I'm placing the darker blue edges. I want this to look like a really worn blue wall or brick wall. And the reason I chose the blue colors is in my photo, everybody is wearing blue with the exception of me. So I thought the blue worked really well. And the wall that we are standing in front of is a white wall, but because of the shadows and the shading in it, it looks like it has a blue hue to it, even though it really is a white building. And the photo is of me, my husband, his cousin, and one of our very good friends. And I did not ask them if I could use their photos, so I am covering their faces for privacy purposes. So my apologies that you don't get to see that, but you get to see me and my husband. I'm going to trim down my photo. This photo was printed on my selfie printer at my house, and so it is slightly smaller than a 4x6 because I also print it with a border. I really like the addition of the white border, and another reason that I always or almost always print with the white border is because the selfie will cut off a little bit at the top and the bottom of the photo if you're not careful of where your subject in your photo is placed. Like if they're all the way to the edge, it might cut off a little bit of that person or whatever it is that's in your photo. So I always print it with the border, and then it makes sure to get the entire photo. It does mean it's a little bit smaller, but that's okay with me. I don't mind that. So here are the colors that I'm using. Again, Tranquil, Stone Blue, and chipped sapphire. And then I went to my bin of scrap paper. I sort my scrap paper into 2 different bins, actually 3 different bins. I have neutrals, and then I also, which includes black and white, and then I have the cool colors in one and the warm colors in the other one. So this these papers are all out of the cool color bin, and just layering it up with the blues and the greens. And the reason I chose the green is because I'm wearing green. And so the colors for this layout are directly chosen from the photograph. And I'm really liking the way that it's coming out. I don't mind if my papers are not the exact size. In fact, I almost prefer that they're not the right size for the matting, because I kind of like it where some of the papers are offset, and that's what I'm going to do in a couple of these papers. Is I'm going to offset them so they don't go 100% all the way around the photo. It's a little more haphazard, and I really like that look, especially on a layout like this one where the background is not like a pristine background. It looks like it's worn and a little bit distressed. So again, I am alternating my colors, and not necessarily the blues and the greens, but the lights and the darks, so that I have contrast between my layers. And I like how that looks. It makes the layers pop a little bit more. And so once I get all of that done, I'm going to start working on doing a little bit of embellishing. This is a great place to work on all of these layers because it gave my mixed media a chance to go ahead and dry. So once I get all of those layers all done, I'm going to start working on my title piece. And I have this wood veneer piece from a kit club that I received, I don't know, maybe a year ago. So it's not anything that's available currently that I'm aware of, but it is wood veneer, and so I am gessoing it with white gesso this time. So my paper is done with clear gesso. I prefer clear gesso on white paper because it doesn't show, because your whites are not all the same color of white, if you will. So some have a little bit more of a warm color, and so they're a little more of that creamy, and some are cooler, so they are a little bit more of that blue. But with the wood veneer, I wanted to do it white because I want to actually change the color to blue, and so I didn't want the creaminess of the wood to show through and alter the color of the blue that I'm going to end up putting on it. So while it dries, I'm going to use these dyes. These are these vine leaf dyes, and I don't have the name of them. They are from Tonic Studios. I have looked high and low on the internet for them, and I cannot find them anywhere. So they've been in my stash for ages. I've used them so much. They were a wonderful purchase, a great investment. And here I am using them again. So my apologies that I don't have the name of them for you. If anybody knows the name of them and you want to drop them in the comments down below, I would highly encourage that, because I would love to know the name of them so that maybe I can do a little bit of searching and see if you can still get them anywhere. But so far I have not been able to find them. So here I am just using the Distress Oxide in the chipped sapphire, and I am just going over the title piece to make it that dark blue again. And I really like the way that looks, because it brings in the colors from the background paper that I created with the cut file, and it kind of brings that to the foreground. So I'm going to go over that a couple of times, and then I actually went over it with a shimmers in Witch's Blue. And the reason I went over it with the Witch's Blue also was because I wanted a little bit of shimmer to it. I also took my shimmer pen and went over it just to add a little bit more sparkle. I didn't want it to be just the flat color of the oxide ink, but I wanted to give it a good base coating in the oxide ink. So I'm using my Nuva Deluxe adhesive to adhere everything down, because I am working on mixed media. It's very difficult for my ATG to hold to the background, and so the liquid glue really does the best job And I haven't had any trouble with anything coming off with this liquid glue. It comes out nice and fine, and it works really, really well for cut files because of how fine it comes out. But also for these leaves that have these really fine pieces. So I highly recommend the Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive. And I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I leave my bottle on its side on my desk laying down for a very long duration of time, and I've never had it clog. The times that I've had it clog is when it's standing up and the air gets into the nozzle, and then it dries. When it's on its side there, it leaves some of the glue in the nozzle so the air can't get in and affect the drying, you know, and create that clog. So I don't think I would leave it open for hours on end, but definitely I've left it open for 30-40 minutes at a time, and it's never had a problem. If it does have a problem, you just pop the tip off, go run it under some warm water, maybe run a needle through the tip of it, and then put it back on your bottle. And then if you do that, I would recommend squirting it off onto a little bit of scrap paper because there will be extra moisture in it. So I am using a stamp set from Elizabeth Craft Designs. I'm stamping in the same Chip Sapphire Distress ink, and this is just going to be a journaling spot. I will include the name of the products that I'm using down below in case you are interested in purchasing anything. So I do need a little bit more journaling area than what I have here, so I am going to stamp off another label stamp, and it is also from Elizabeth Craft Designs. It's their retro labels, which I don't even know if you can get anymore, but it is one of my favorite stamp sets, and so I'm going to go ahead and use that to create a little bit more of an area. So my title here, Once Upon a Time, is kind of a little bit tongue-in-cheek because my friend that is in the photo I've known for, I don't know, maybe 15, almost 20 years. And my husband's cousin, I haven't even known that long because he lives in Wisconsin and we live out here, and I've never visited out there. And so my husband and his cousin were Facebook friends, and that's how our friend met his cousin. And so my story is once upon a time there were two cousins, and then just tell the story of how my friend and my husband's cousin met. So it's kind of funny. So there is my additional area for journaling. You may have noticed I added 3 white acrylic butterflies. I think I got those from MK, not from her store. I think they were in a from a retreat. They were like a table gift, and I don't know where they're from beyond that. So my apologies. So I am using my navy blue Muji pen to go ahead and write my journaling in, and that is going to do it, you guys. Don't forget to check out what MK has on her channel today for a cut file that is used in an unconventional way. I can't wait to go check it out myself. Her link will be down below for you too. Thanks so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and if you're not already subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe as well. And I will see you guys soon with another video. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.